Briefcase Crimes contains graphic depictions of violent acts, bad jokes, and loud dog noises. It's not intended for all audiences, and listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, listeners, to Briefcase Crimes.
I'm Hannah, and I'm full of terrifying facts about horrific events.
I'm Liz, and I'm full of morbid curiosity. Hannah.
Elizabeth.
Today is our second episode of Monthly Mysteries.
How exciting. That was a festive fanfare.
Yes. I know. I kind of thought about trying to get like a Christmassy, holiday-y mystery, but I didn't. Sorry.
Well, listen, that's what I do to you every week. I'm like, I almost did a cult, but then I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost did this, and then I didn't.
So, I'm not gonna tell you right away what the thing is.
Oh, okay.
Let me pull up my slides so I tell you to go to the right one. Go ahead to the first slide.
A man.
This is...
It's a white man.
Yes, it is. This is Edward Leedskalnen. He was born in Riga, Latvia on August 10th of 1887. And so he's on the left, obviously, and on the right is his immigration papers to immigrate to the United States.
Is Riga the capital of Latvia?
You know, I don't know.
I think it is.
I just like typed it down. I didn't really look it up.
I think it is.
Do you want to?
My brain is saying that it is.
Do you want to Google it?
Not really.
Okay, it's Riga, Latvia.
But I just wanted to be like, hey, listen to this knowledge I have.
Yeah. So, with this case, we're going to go completely chronologically. That sounded
okay.
Right. Chronologically. So, we're going to talk about Ed.
Hey.
Yeah.
I did a quick Google.
Uh-huh.
It is the capital. I'm
correct. Of course it is.
It's me, Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah, steel trap brain Hannah.
Yes.
So, his family was a long line of stonemasons.
Ooh.
Of which he also did. He was also
Masoned.
a stonemason in Latvia. And his grandfather owned and operated a cemetery tombstone monument business.
Okay.
So, you know, rock carving stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay? So...
We have friends who have a business that's that, so it's not that strange to me.
No, it just comes around. Like, it'll be... It's kind of relevant. Not like that. It's not creepy. Well, it's not creepy. It's just mysterious. Kind of. You'll understand. It's a weird story.
I will reserve my judgments.
Sure. In 1913, Ed is 26 years old. This part's a little bit creepy. He's engaged to, quote, his true love, Agnes Scuffs. I saw some sources that randomly called her Hermine Lucis.
That happens so much more than you'd imagine.
I know. I just don't
No one knows what
it.
anybody's name is.
But here's the thing. He's 26. She's 16.
Oof. The only way that I would say that that's okay, because she is the love of his life.
That's what he says.
Was if his dead ancestor,
oh my god,
Countess Anna Constantina, whatever the heck, von Kossel, gave him a vision of her. Well, that
did not happen here.
No thanks.
So he called her his sweet 16.
Ew, so he like acknowledged it.
Yeah, like I have in my notes, yuck.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. So the day before their wedding, she called it off.
Good.
Right?
This girl makes good decisions.
Yeah. He only one of my sources said that she called it off to be with somebody else.
What year was this?
This was in 1913.
Okay. And is he still in Latvia?
Yes, this is still in Latvia.
Okay. Scuffs just was quite a last name. It threw me off.
Yeah, it's Scuffs. Yeah.
See, in 1913, 16 was still young. Like, it wasn't... It wasn't, like, way, way back where it was, like, marrying age.
Yeah. And I think it's real interesting because, like, it clearly was not an arranged... maybe it was an arranged marriage, but, like, she was able to call it off. Like, it's not like her family was forcing her to do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so he called her his Sweet 16, and he was totally heartbroken. And he set out on a lifelong quest to make a monument to his lost love. He talks about her like she's dead, but she just left him.
Kind of monument.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
So, he moved to the Americas in 1912. And I say the Americas because he moved around a lot. He lived in Canada sometimes.
Okay.
He also lived in Texas and California. And he worked in mines, and he worked with rigging big logs. So, like, when they cut the timber, like, lifting and moving the logs is, like, what he was doing.
Rigging big logs sounds like a euphemism.
I know. I know, it does.
Hold on, I gotta go rig some big logs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but he had, like,
I don't know what I mean.
Experience with, like, cranes and stuff at this point.
Well, that's what he's gonna need that for this monument.
Oh, just you wait. That's the mystery. We'll get to it. Anyways.
Okay, and this is the story of Mount Rushmore.
Right, no. Definitely not.
His long-lost love had 4 heads, and they were all male.
It's not, well, I don't know. It's arguably that incredible, but not of that magnitude, maybe.
I'm just excited.
Yeah. So just hold with me, and you'll get to see soon, okay? He was said by people who knew him, he was said to have been a very smart man who read a lot. He also wrote some booklets, like little miniature books. He wrote 5, and we'll talk about them a little bit more later.
Miniature books?
Yeah, like little, like, booklet pamphlets that he sold.
So not, like, as long as a novella.
No.
Shorter than that, like a Common Sense Thomas Paine.
Yeah, like a
Reynolds
little tiny, pamphlet. Like a little pocketbook type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wrote 5. Most of them were just, like, his personal opinions, some of which were kind of crappy. We'll talk about them later. I only have, like, one major quote out of it, but...
Okay.
So, in 1918, he moved again because he developed, quote, a touch of tuberculosis.
Just a touch.
Just a touch.
That's like when I get baby fever and I asked Ryan if we could just have, like, a slight child.
Yeah.
I'm like, we could have like a little bit of a child.
Yeah, right. So he decided that he needed to move to a better climate. I guess the West was not good for the TB.
Has he tried Key Biscayne, Florida?
Actually, he moved to Florida City, Florida.
I hit him and Jacques Mossler.
Yeah.
Florida, for your health.
Once he moved to Florida, he began working on what he called Rockgate Park.
Okay.
So what is Rockgate Park, you may be asking?
I am very much asking.
Go to your next slide.
Oh boy. What is this?
It's a monument to his love.
It looks like... You know what it looks like?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like an Animal Crossing island.
It kind of does. It really does. I've got a lot of pictures.
Somebody recreate this picture at Animal Crossing, and I'll give you $5.
So this is the park at night, like at sunset. If you go to the next slide, it's daytime. They are currently closed because of COVID. Ugh. However, this is a tourist destination today. So in the corner, I have a throne that he carved. If you go then to the next slide,
is the throne the big crescent?
No, the throne is like on the bottom left hand corner of the picture. I've got there's a lot of pictures. I've got like 14 or 15 slides.
Because what I'm looking at, is it the picture of the guy that kind of looks like George Lucas in a red shirt?
No,
on the left?
No, it's the corner on the corner photo, the little one.
Yeah.
So you can see there's the big crescent moon in the center, and then to the left there's Saturn.
Yes.
It's right under Saturn. It's kind of hard to see because it's all made of the same stone, so it like blends in.
I wondered if you were talking about that hedge in the front of the other picture that kind of looks like a bench.
No.
But I can see in the bigger scheme of things where this throne lives.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's like right in the middle. And then go to the next slide. This is Ed in his park. Ed was 5 feet tall and 100 pounds. He is my brother's build. Yeah.
He's Kyle.
He's Kyle, exactly. So this is him in scale with the park.
Okay.
So he quarried, carved, and moved every stone in this park by himself.
For this girl.
For this
who
girl.
left him.
That left him.
All right.
Which some of the things I read were like, we don't even know she even existed. Well, like some people were like, he may have made it up, but he was like otherwise trustworthy. So
some people hook a rug.
Yeah. Some people
do this.
So this whole park has 1,100 tons of stone that he carved.
Holy Moses.
The blocks weighed as much as 30 tons for one stone. And he quarried these.
So you know what's really scaring me?
Huh?
We're like not that far into the story yet. And you're telling me about this, but I know you have 5 pages of outline, and I'm just like, where else is this going? It's already weird.
Yeah, it's real weird. And this is a story that Scott told me about, and then when I started researching, I was like, oh my god, there's so much here. So he carved furniture, and I've got more pictures of all these things, so like don't worry. Okay. He carved furniture, walls, a tower, like a structure housing tower.
Okay.
That he lived in.
Oh, ew, he lived in the park?
Yeah. A table in the shape of Florida.
Okay.
A sundial accurate to the minute.
What?
A well, an obelisk, a Polaris telescope.
Like a functional one?
Yeah, there's pictures of it. And the big one, a stone slab gate that weighs 9 tons. And this is why the park is named
Rockgate
Park, because of this 9-ton stone gate. So let me see. Let's go to your next slide here. This is the Florida-shaped table. So we've got an old photo on the left from when he's sitting in the one chair here.
Yeah.
And then a modern photo in the bottom right corner. And then above it, we have these planets and things that he carved. If you go then to the next slide.
Why is there a hole in the Florida?
It's a little like water well, like it's meant to put water in.
Okay.
I don't understand why. I have in my sources a lot of videos. There's a video of someone visiting recently.
Okay.
And there's also another video that's old, and I'll talk about that later.
Also, that chair does not look comfortable.
Here's the thing. They were.
What?
We'll talk about it later. They were comfortable. Okay. It's weird.
It looks like a big stone gaming chair.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oy. Okay, next picture?
Next picture. This is the 9-ton gate. So they built...
Is it meant to be open and closed?
Yes. So
How?
I have videos. I'll have you do them at the end because I don't want you to skip ahead slides.
Okay.
But there's videos in my sources that will be in the brief that show it moving, like show people pushing it open and closed. Now here's the thing. It was discovered later that there is a metal system, like a rod and ball bearings.
Have to be.
Yeah, and they have rusted. So at one point in the past, they actually repaired it, but it was so costly to do so that they have since worn down again and they have not been repaired. So it does still move. There is a modern video of a guy. The guy in the video is really annoying if you ask me, but I still included it in the resources. It's only like 3 minutes long of him pushing it still.
Okay.
So it just requires a lot more force.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day when it was built, it was so well balanced that there's literally a video of a child pushing it.
Why wasn't this guy, like, doing something else? Like, using these skills elsewhere?
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Do you know what kind of rock this is?
Yes. So, that's my next thing in my outline.
Because it looks weird.
So, the park is now called the Coral Castle.
Okay.
So that's what they call it now. And they call it that because the stones are an oolite, which is a limestone rock that contains coral and is very abundant in Florida. It can be quarried from just under the surface in a lot of places in Florida. So go on to your next slide. I have a picture of the mechanism in the stone gate there on the left. And on the right, that is the Polaris telescope.
What even?
Mm-hmm.
Ed.
And then the next slide, this is the sundial on the left.
Oh my god.
And then on the right, I have a geological map here so you can see Florida City, Florida is only 30 miles from Miami, so it's very far south. So it's in that Pleistocene, or like the light orange band at the bottom.
That is the same area as Key Biscayne.
Yes,
I was not that far off.
Yeah.
And also, folks, we love a geologic map.
I know. When I found that, I was like, oh, this is perfect. She's going to love this.
The fact that I was like, what kind of rock is that? Says a lot about me as a person.
Hey, and I had the answer.
I know.
I was ready.
It says a lot that I wanted to know and that you knew I'd want to know.
Yeah. And also because, like, with the name Coral Castle, it's like, why? But it's because of the oolite.
We always talk on this show about how our friendship is not the same as, like, all these murderers' friendships. Mm-mm. Our friendship is good enough that you knew I'd want to know what kind of rocks those were.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're that kind of close.
So, I'm going to go one more slide for now.
Okay.
This is the entrance. So, just like an exterior shot. And this shows the tower that he built. The one that he eventually lived in. Yeah.
I hate that. That
it's
to
not
me
creepy.
It's weird.
He basically was like a groundskeeper. It'll make more sense. That's literally not even the weird part of it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, because the mystery is, how did this one man on his own do all of this?
Did he not have cranes and stuff?
So what he had, we'll get to it, because I do have a picture of it.
Okay.
But
take your time.
We'll get to
Tell
it.
a story in your pace.
It's coming up here.
I'm not good at being the audience. I'm like asking too many questions.
No, you're fine. I just feel like we're zooming through the pictures because like everything, it's really like front heavy. Anyways, we're gonna go to the next slide. Mine was
very back heavy, so
yeah. So on the next one, this is a map of the park.
Sun couch.
Yes.
Bathtub?
Yes. So the bathtub is featured in one of the videos with a woman in it. She's clothed, but
okay.
Yeah.
Ed's barbecue.
Yeah, right? So this is like a top-down map of everything. You can see the Florida table, the throne room. Yeah.
Just like the sheer scale of it.
Mm-hmm. So that last picture of that tower, that's the one in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah. And the 3-ton gate. So the 9-ton gate was at the back of the park.
Oh, I see it back there.
Yeah.
Wow, because 3 tons just weren't enough.
Yeah, right?
I also like that you've got a gate, and then just on the left side it's just open.
Right. Yeah, I know.
What's the point of the gates, dude?
Yeah.
What an imagination.
I know. And, like, he carved, like, the planets. I'll talk about them a little bit more later. But the stone, this oolite, the only thing that we, like, kind of make sense out of is the fact that oolite is soft. It can easily be cut with a handsaw. Okay. So, between the fact that the oolite is soft and he has his history with his family being all stonemasons.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm an idiot.
So
you told me, and I pushed it out of my brain.
That's all right. So that's like the only thing we can make sense of, though, because that still doesn't explain how he was able to quarry it and move, like lift the rocks to actually put it all together. Now, what we do know is he had a tripod. If you go to the next slide, he built this tripod out of 3 pieces of Florida pine. So in the photo on the left, you can see there's like ladder rungs so that he can climb up to the top. And there's a little black box on top. And in that black box is a magnetic device.
So what?
Nobody knows how it works. There's like one guy on YouTube who says he's figured it out, but he's still not lifting 30-pound rocks with the thing.
More than 30 pounds.
30 tons, sorry.
I was going to say 30-pound rocks. You
sorry.
listen to yourself.
Yeah, 30 tons. So, but then on the
he's not even lifting 30 pounds.
I know. But on the right-hand side, these are screenshots from a video, which is linked in the brief, and it is a YouTube video. It's from a documentary that was made in the 40s. I think it was 44. I have the exact date later because we'll come back to it later. But it's showing him moving the rocks. It shows him moving them, which is crazy.
It looks like he's got like the rollers or something underneath it. It looked like he has a pulley system going on.
Yes.
With the tripod, so that's going to take some of the weight. I'm not great at like physics.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's using like the Archimedes principles style things to figure it out. But wow.
So we're going to derail a little bit. We're going to talk about him a little bit more.
Okay.
So he had a great sense of humor, supposedly.
Okay.
Which came through in a few places of his creation.
I'm nervous.
So, the Florida-shaped dining table, there's 4 stone chairs, and they're all... So, 3 of those 4 stone chairs are very comfortable, because what Ed specialized in was balance. So, he was able to make the stone, like, smooth enough and balanced enough to be extremely comfortable. But... Ed said that the 3 comfortable chairs were reserved for himself, Sweet 16, because he just calls her Sweet 16, and
but she's aged.
And their child.
They don't have a child.
Yeah, I know. The 4th chair, which is purposefully unbalanced and uncomfortable, is reserved for his mother-in-law when she visited. Ed assumed that she would become very uncomfortable, hopefully take a hint, and not stay very long.
Ed. Ed.
Yeah.
You're not Ed. Mm-hmm. Help this man.
Yeah.
This man should have been building rockets for NASA.
Yeah.
Rockets made of rock.
Yeah. So... I'm going to go back to the 9-ton gate for a minute as well.
Okay.
So, like I said before, it became damaged in It was 1986. So engineers from the University of Florida tried to take it apart to fix it. And they're the ones who found out that there was a hole drilled through it and that a metal shaft was in the hole and that it rested on the truck bearing that we saw in the photo there.
Okay.
So in order to do the repair, it required an 18 to 20 ton capacity crane to lift the gate off of the original bearing, which had rusted, causing its failure.
But Ed did it with just a tripod and some magnets.
Yeah, made of tree trunks. Yeah.
What? When? Okay.
Yeah. So, during this repair, they removed a small piece of stone that was mounted to the bottom. And after they repaired it, sans that piece of stone, it never worked as well.
Huh. Because it wasn't as balanced.
Right? And then in 2005, their repair failed. And it had to be repaired again. But even still, it just doesn't work as well.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because this is just like one Latvian man with a big tripod.
Yeah.
And those are like engineers.
Yeah. Yep. So he started working on this in 1918, right?
Okay.
At first, when he started working on this, he would work at night. He had put up like scrims, like tarps, stuff like that, to keep people out and keep them from seeing it. But after he had established some of the structures, in 1923, he started to allow people to come and visit. So at first, he did not charge any admission, but eventually he started to charge a dime per person because visitors trampled his landscaping.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why I can't have anything nice.
I know. So he continued working on it. It wasn't done. And, like, people could come and, like, watch him work at that point.
And nobody was like, hey, Ed, what's going on in that black box up there, bud?
No.
Explain your secrets.
No. And he just, charged his admission. He was good. So that was in 1923. He started doing that in 1936. So it's been 13 years of people coming into the park. Ed found out that there was a plan to build a development near to the park. I'm not sure exactly how large the plot of land it was on, like how big it was.
Wait a second.
Huh.
Does he own this land?
He owns it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He does.
Okay.
But he found out that this development was going in and he was afraid it would interfere. So, like, I don't know how close this development was going to be. Okay. But he decided better to just move. So he bought up some land 30 miles south of Miami. And
how do you move this?
He moved all the rocks 10 miles from the original location.
How?
It took 3 years. And I've got a quote here. Many people saw the coral carvings being moved along the Dixie Highway, but no one actually saw Ed loading or unloading the trailer. So he had a buddy with a trailer because he never owned a car. Yep, Ed did much of his work at night by lantern light, and to help protect his privacy, he built numerous lookouts along the castle walls. In 1940, after the carvings were in place at the new location, he erected the walls. The coral walls weigh 125 pounds per cubic foot. Each section of walls 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 3 feet thick, and weighs 5.3 tons, or 5.8 tons, excuse me. When questioned about how he moved the rocks, Ed just told them he understood the laws of weight and leverage very well.
So basically they were like, Ed, how'd you move these rocks? And he was like, mind your business.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, he would have had to understand the laws of the land as far as rock go.
Ed had only a 4th grade education.
No, he had a 4th grade education for Latvia standards, which means this man is living in the year 3030.
Yeah. He even built an AC current generator.
No, he did not.
It's on display, and I have photos of it. We'll get there later.
This whole story is lies.
We can go once COVID is over, because they've shut the doors for now.
Why is it closed? It's outdoor.
I don't know.
Tell us why you're closed.
I demand to know as a citizen. So, because there are no records from witnesses, the methods in which he used to actually lift these blocks are a total mystery still. No engineer or scientist has been able to figure it out.
What? I cannot believe.
His secrets of construction are often compared to Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids. So.
What?
Yeah.
But the thing with the pyramids is we know those were built on the backs of, like, bunches of slaves.
Yeah.
We don't know about Stonehenge. But, like, this is one Latvian man.
Yeah. A 5-foot, 100-pound Latvian man. So, once he got settled in his new location, he allowed visitors again. This time he upped his price to 25 cents per person.
Wow.
But he didn't, like, patrol the gate or anything. He just had a drop box. He went on the honor system, and you just, like, dropped your quarter in the box and rang a bell to let him know you were there.
Wow.
Yeah, so he would just let people in. Like, if somebody didn't pay, like, he wasn't going to chase them out. Because he's a stand-up guy.
Clearly. He was like, Listen, you want to come look at these big crazy rocks?
Yeah. This is the point at which I have in my notes about that video. So in 1944, a documentary was filmed by, and it's now owned by the Nemeth Film Collection. I'm not sure if that's, like, who filmed it originally. But it shows him moving rocks, using the tripod and chains, as well as, like, pulley systems and stuff. There's also the shot of the 9-ton gate being used by lots of people, including the small boy that I mentioned. Wow. Like, we're talking like a 6 or 7-year-old boy. It also shows the rocking chairs moving, the table with the water pool in it, the Florida table, and the bath. What else was in it? The throne room. Like, it shows a lot of, like, most of the park, quite honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. So, he did live, once he moved it 10 miles, that's when he started to live in the tower he built. It was a 2-story tower. He, like I said, never owned a car. He was a bit of, like, a hermit, and he liked it that way. And he, like I said, he had that AC generator, so he didn't need, there was no running water. It was just the well, and then he had his generator, and he would just ride his bike to town if he needed groceries or other supplies.
Would the well just, like, collect rainwater?
No, it's a well.
Oh, it's, like, dug into.
It's a dug well.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's in the video, so.
I mean, honestly, the dream. But, like.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I'm just Owen Wilsoning this entire episode, and I'm just like, wow.
No, it's okay.
Wow.
In late 1951, Ed just wasn't feeling so well. So he left a note on the castle door that said, going to the hospital.
As one does.
And he caught a bus to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami.
Okay.
He died 3 days later of a kidney infection at the age of 64. So
sad.
His land he had no children. It just sat. A couple of years after his death, I don't know the circumstances. He had a living nephew, so I don't know if, like, the nephew was going through his stuff or what. But they found a box of his possessions, which included $3,500 in cash, which, if you go to your next slide, is adjusted for inflation.
Oh, okay.
So $3,500 cash in 1951 is equivalent to about $35,000 today.
Okay.
He made this money from park admittance. He also sold part of his land for the construction of Highway US 1, and also from selling his 5 little booklets that he wrote about topics. And then on the right, we can see how the buying power of $5,000 or $3,500 has decreased. Oh, it's so sad. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, though.
I know.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so $35,000 in 1951 is equivalent to $500 of buying power.
My thing is, like, so it's not like he had to pay for water.
Nope.
It's not like he had to pay for electricity.
He had no utilities.
He didn't have to pay for housing.
Nope. He may have had a mortgage
on his land.
Maybe.
Yeah. But, like, he didn't have a car to pay, like, gas or car payments. So he was basically just, like, all of that money was just profit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Profit and groceries, that's, like, it. So...
He doesn't look like a man who needs or wants much.
No. He just wanted his
Except
sweet
love.
16. Yeah.
Barf.
So, so he had no will. The property was left to his nephew, and then his nephew died 2 years later.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there was no next of kin at that point. Eventually, the land and the park was owned and acquired by Coral Castle Incorporated, who own it now. So it was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1984. In the references, I have links to Coral Castle's website.
Mm-hmm.
And on that website, along with, like, history and, like, information on visiting, because it's like a museum now, they also sell the booklets that Ed wrote.
What?
You can get all 5 of his little pamphlets for, like, $18, and they ship.
Nice.
They ship. Yeah.
Nice.
So he wrote one book that's called A Book in Every Home, which contains Ed's thoughts on 3 separate subjects: Sweet 16, domestic and political views, and he also wrote 3 pamphlets on magnetic current, and his mineral, vegetable, and animal life booklet, which contains his beliefs on the life cycle.
Have any of these engineers that are trying to replicate what he's done read the booklet on the magnetic current?
The one guy on YouTube did. He, like, had in his video, like, a whole, like, little history section, and he talks about the booklets. But even then, people are still pretty baffled by it. So, as we can guess, a man of the late 1800s and early 1900s, his ideas were not exactly progressive.
Had some spicy opinions.
Yeah. So, like, even on the Coral Castle website, like, they say that. They're like, some of his ideas probably wouldn't be accepted today. For example, there's an excerpt from one of the books. I believe that this is in the A Book in Every Home.
Okay.
Which is just his thoughts on 3 different subjects. And it says, the schools and the churches are cheapening the girls. They are arranging picnics, are coupling up the girls with the fresh boys. And then they send them out to the woods, parks, beaches, and other places so that they can practice in first-degree lovemaking. Cheapening those girls.
First-degree lovemaking. Is that first base, second base?
I don't know.
So kissing.
I think of it like Burns.
Oh. Just like some surface lovemaking.
Yeah, you know.
Good Lord.
Yep. So, here's another little amazing tidbit. In August of 1992, the castle was in the direct path of a Force 5 hurricane, Hurricane Andrew. and all of the stones remained unscathed and in position.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. So, at this point...
maybe the title of this episode is Wow.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah. So at this point, we got two possibilities here. Either Ed is the best con artist that ever lived, and his Sweet 16 wasn't even a real person, and everything was made up just to get you to come to the park so he could make money and not spend it, I guess. Or he actually did it. Some people... I mean, go ahead.
Either way, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, either way, he quarried and moved all the stones himself.
Yeah.
Whether he was lying about the reason that he did it or not.
Well, people are saying, you know, it was done in secret at night. Like, maybe he had crews that came in.
But there's video of him doing it.
Yeah, but the video doesn't show him lifting them very high. So, I don't know.
Maybe inside that black box is just, like, a roll of Smarties.
Oh, no, I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Yeah. There were rumors that he had a shady past in Latvia, but there's no evidence of it.
If you don't have a shady Latvian past, don't even talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, he, like, just left it in good faith for people to pay. Like, he wasn't, like, pushing it. He was a loner. He didn't like material things. So, like, a lot of people were like, he had no... Like, he's not the kind of guy who would just tell stories like that.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit the rest of his character.
Yeah, he was just considered a very hard worker. He never swore, and he never lost his temper.
It's more than I can say for most people.
Yeah. So before he moved to Florida, Ed searched, because he was traveling. Like I said, he lived in California, he lived in Texas, he lived in Canada. He was searching America for what he thought was the right land. And he spent most of his time over those years experimenting with magnets, electricity, radio signals, and paying close attention to the positions of the planets and stars.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and even though he claimed to be all heartbroken and he was building this coral castle for his Sweet 16, he didn't really talk about her a whole lot after he moved.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and he remained single until he died.
Well, he was married to her.
No, he didn't marry her.
In his brain.
In his brain, yeah.
They had a child, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
He had a chair at the table.
That's true. He claimed that he just knew the mystery of the pyramids, referring to the pyramids of Giza. In his...
Casual, humble brag.
Yeah. He left behind journals.
Oh, I love a journal.
And in his journal, he said that he had figured out the ancient secret of carving stones and transforming them into weightless objects.
He figured it out, but he didn't explain the secret in the journal.
He didn't write it down. No.
Oh, okay.
So he claimed that real gravity is actually a magnet. So if you reverse the force of gravity with a magnet, you can make a huge rock weightless. Or weigh less. Weigh enough that you can move it at least.
I don't know enough about physics to refute that.
Yeah, I mean, gravity is a wave. That's all I really know on this subject. So...
The man we need is in the garage lifting weights.
Yeah, sorry. So if you go to your next slide.
Ooh, okay.
So this is in his tower. So this is the ground level where he kept all of his tools. Okay. So I have added like some little text on here. So on the left, this is the magnetic flywheel. And one of these wheels, and there's another one on the next slide that's like bigger so you can see it better. You can flip back and forth. One of these wheels was supposedly what was kept in the black box at the top of his tripod. On the right side, we have on the wall his AC generator, as well as resistors made out of glass bottles and wire. They look like bombs.
They do?
They just flat
They
out
do.
looks like crappy, like, homemade rigged explosives.
They remind me of when you're in, like, 6th grade science class and you wrap a battery with, like, copper wire and make an electromagnet.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, I can see it. I can see how it looks like a resistor.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, the fact that they're made out of just, like, bottles.
Yeah. So this flywheel, you can see it has, like, a clover shape on the top.
Yes.
And that is part of the mystery, apparently. But really, like, from the crazy guy on YouTube who says he's figured out the mystery, it's basically just, like, a gear switch.
Okay.
So, like, there's, like, a little arm that lays against the clover, and it gets pushed, like, ebb and flow as it rotates, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Like, the leaves of the clover, it lets it go one way, and then when
Yeah.
it rides along the edge of that, it
Yeah.
moves back and forth.
Exactly. So, like, if you've ever seen, like, the inner mechanism of, like, a music box where there's a little metal tine, and as it rotates, it hits the bumps and goes over them, it's like going over the bumps.
Okay.
So, when you hold a compass next to the wheel, the compass indicates that it is in front of a U-shaped magnet.
Okay.
So it is magnetic. It reacts with, compasses the way you would expect it to with a magnet.
But what's it made of?
It's
Magnet?
just metal. It's
I
yeah.
I have a question, and it's gonna make me sound real stupid. This is one
What?
of those, like, explain like I'm 5. You might not know the answer
I might
to this
not.
either. What is a magnet?
I couldn't explain it to you.
Are they naturally occurring, or are they manufactured?
I think you can magnetize things.
Yeah, but, like, do you dig in the ground and find magnet?
I don't know.
What is a magnet, guys?
I could be totally wrong here. But I believe that you have certain types of materials that are able to conduct the, like, electrons and what have you that are necessary for a magnet, and then you charge them.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Because I know that you can make metal magnetic. Like, you can...
Yeah, well, we talked
Yeah.
about electromagnets.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't know if there's any naturally occurring magnets.
I'll look into it, and if
Yeah.
I find an explanation that is good, I'll put it right here. And if not, I won't. I won't put anything.
There you go.
So you might have just heard Hannah from the future.
Maybe not.
Or you might not.
Yeah.
I might forget.
Yep. So let me see. Where am I? Oh, so also on the image of the AC generator, this is a fully functional generator. Like, I'm pretty sure that this is, like, able to be replicated and everything. He had also built a crystal radio.
Oh, we know somebody else who did that.
And the radio was said to be interfering with the signals of a nearby Air Force base.
What?
And so agents from the Air Force Base were sent out to him to see about the signals, and they were quoted as being impressed by the antenna he had set up.
Nice. And they didn't offer him a job.
No. And Ed just said he was using the antenna so he could listen to music and the news on his radio.
And Johnny Dollar.
Yeah. So
Weird
he had his
guy.
little radio that he built, and, like, he's just living his best life.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Fair enough.
So, one specialist believes that the radio signals he was using would vibrate the coral at a resonant frequency while using an electromagnetic field to flip the polarity of the atoms so that they would repel the Earth's magnetic field.
I don't know enough
Here's the
about
thing.
anything.
Here's the thing. What he explained is magnetic levitation, which is 100% possible.
Yeah.
And used in high-speed trains today.
Yeah. Maglev
So
trains.
So basically, most people who've looked into it just think he created like a magnetic levitation system.
Which probably felt like magic.
Probably. Because I don't know when they like discovered that officially.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
You know, they.
Yeah.
The big they.
He also claimed, by the way, this was like tacked on at the end, and so I just tacked it on at the end because it's so silly. He claimed that the magnetism cured his tuberculosis.
I was gonna ask earlier.
Yeah. He was just like, nah, man, the magnets fixed it.
I was going to ask if he ever got over his touch of the tuberculosis.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So, the last little fun tidbit is that the History Channel did do something about this. I think... I just found an excerpt of it on YouTube, so don't quote me. But I think that it was in the Ancient Aliens show. Because, you know the Aliens guy?
Yeah, Giorgio Tsoukalos is his name.
He commented on this. And he says he doesn't think it was done with alien technology, but he wouldn't exclude the possibility. There you have it.
See, I thought they were... I thought they were gonna... This isn't ancient, first of all.
Well, no, but here's the thing. If what they're saying is...
I thought
I don't buy into
maybe this is how they did the pyramids.
That's the thing. I don't buy into this, but he is saying that it's possible that Ed used the same technology that was used by the ancients who did the pyramids that was given to them by the aliens.
Why did it have to be given to them by the aliens?
I don't know.
Don't you think it's weird?
It's like the celestial significance and stuff.
Don't you think it's kind of weird that when great achievements are done by ancient peoples, especially ancient peoples of color, suddenly it couldn't have been done by man?
Yeah. I watched the coolest documentary about Machu Picchu.
Ugh.
And they tried to say it was aliens, and I'm like, bruh. Nah.
I'm gonna tell you a thing. Machu Picchu's gonna close its gates in the foreseeable future because it's sinking.
Yeah. And
we have to get there before they do.
I have a passport.
I don't, but I'm an archaeologist. Please let me in.
Yeah.
Technically, I'm a plant archaeologist, but I still want to see.
That's okay.
I'm impressed by this Ed.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. He does, so in his journals, he did claim that he made 10 of the magnetic, iron. The flywheels are made of iron. I have it here.
I know that is something that is magnetic.
Yeah, so he claims he made 10 of them, but this is the only one remaining. Also, a little interesting tidbit, I believe the one pictured, this last remaining one, has 24 spokes on it.
Okay.
But his original ones only had 16 in reference to his Sweet 16.
Ugh.
Yeah. But
why does he keep having to make it weird?
He claimed that he upsized this last one for, efficiency. I'm assuming because, he was getting up in years or something.
It's listen, nostalgia and sentiment aren't, do not efficiency make.
Yeah. So, if you go to the last slide, let's see, it's kind of in the middle, is the first YouTube link. That's the
actual documentary.
Yeah, so this documentary was from the 40s. I think it was 1944. And so you can see things moving. And you can see the bathtub and some of the other things that I didn't include. And then the link below it, it's a 4K tour, so it's really high quality video.
The next time I'm at your house, we'll have to watch it on the big TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I watch this, wow, that's... Oh, there, he's got a jack winch thing.
Uh-huh. But it was all hand tools,
So?
That's the marvel of it, though.
I know. The fact that it's I also love that he's just working and everybody behind him is just, climbing on the... Yeah. Oh my gosh, that kid!
I know!
Oh, and that lady's hair.
Uh-huh.
She almost got smushed.
Yeah, she did.
Everybody's dressed so cute. That lady's got victory rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I said before, we always have to talk about fashion. Rocking chairs.
Yep.
Everybody's eating at the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
He made, I don't know if I mentioned this, he made 24 chairs. Hold on, let me find that.
Some of the bigger ones look dangerous.
Yeah.
You could smush somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Where was it?
Ew, kissing.
I knew I read that somewhere.
It's like a merry-go-round thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are they called?
Yeah, you
it's
had
it. Not a carousel, but like a
I always called them merry-go-rounds.
Yeah. But I know that's another name for like a carousel.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the well.
Mm-hmm.
And the bathtub. You don't have to actually take a bath in it.
But you can. I would have assumed that limestone is like porous. I don't know how it actually holds water, but
I don't know. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed.
And then if you go to the video that says the 9-ton gate moving, that's the modern video.
Okay.
Which he's real annoying, but it's a short video, and you can just skip to when he gets around to the gate.
I literally have it muted so that I don't have to listen.
That's for the best.
You will be seeing an unusual accomplishment.
Yep.
It's so strange. So here's something that I think is strange. Or not strange, but something that is neat about this is that you would look at it and be like, oh, it's just a bunch of rocks, but it's so dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, he walked and just pushed something and it moved.
Yeah. Yep, and that's the real marvel about it. The two really incredible things are the way he engineered the gates and these moving parts, and just how he lifted the massive weight. Those are the two things about it that are baffling.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I'm impressed.
Yeah. So that's Ed.
So that's Ed.
That's Ed. That's all she wrote.
Very interesting.
It is.
I would not have sought this information out on my own.
Right.
It is very mysterious.
Yep. It's one of those things where just the fact that, modern scientists have still not been able to figure it out.
Yes.
They know that it has to do with magnets, but nobody has been able to replicate it.
Yeah, because, I imagine that the technology that moves maglev trains is not, a flywheel on top of a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So it's yeah, we can use magnetic levitation, but not with his method.
Not the way he do.
Yeah, something about the way he did it is unique.
Yes. It was very, I don't know, ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was way ahead of his time.
And it just seems like a very wholesome guy other than being in love with a perpetual 16-year-old.
Yeah. That's that, and I'm so tempted to buy his booklets because, I said, you can get them from the Coral Castle's
and just
website.
To have them,
but also to read bad quotes and stuff, the one that I read to you about the churches.
I feel like we need to go get a Green Monster Braxton County Flatwoods Monster lantern. We need to get his booklets.
Yeah.
Then whatever the next mystery is, we need to get something for that.
Yeah.
We need to have
little souvenirs.
So yeah, souvenirs of at least of the monthly mystery. I don't think that's possible or sustainable for the main show.
Yeah.
I don't know what we'd get.
I don't know
Archie and
either.
Chuli's kettle.
Oh gosh. Just buy some soap.
I don't feel like we need a palate cleanser, but it is tradition. Would you like to talk about what we're reading and recommending?
I feel like we should come up with a different palate cleanser.
Okay. Well, so in the last one we talked about, in the Flatwoods Monster, we talked about what our favorite cryptids are.
Maybe we should talk about what our favorite megalith is.
Oh, I don't know if I have an answer. I would say megalith or your favorite roadside attraction.
Sure.
Okay. Let me think.
I haven't been to a lot.
I haven't either. I'm really thinking about when we went to our road trip.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what mine is.
Okay.
So weirdly enough, I'll go first. Okay. Usually you go first.
Well, usually you're telling the story.
Oh, that's true. So when we went on our road trip a couple years ago, we went to, it is in Moundsville. Mm-hmm. Moundsville, West Virginia. But there's two different things there. I would say I really loved going to the mound itself. Yeah. So there's a large Adena burial mound there and a museum. Mm-hmm. And so
it's a free museum.
I know. I mean, I obviously know.
I'm telling our listeners if they want to go.
That's what I mean. Why did I say I know?
That's okay. You're just excited.
I was very excited that it's so weird. So I thought it was going to be like out in a field somewhere. Yeah. But it literally is just like right across the street from the prison.
It's like on a street corner, basically.
Yeah, it's just this huge mound. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's the mound. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's a museum. And then I was like, oh my gosh, we can go up it. Yeah. We can go up the mound. Yeah. And that was like the coolest part of that.
Which I talked to one of my coworkers, and I don't know if it's like a seasonal thing, but I told him that we went up the mound, and he was like real shocked. Like, I don't know if they close it during certain seasons or something.
I mean, there wasn't anything there stopping us, and there was like a path.
It was August, like, I don't know.
Yeah. So. But then also in that same area, not far outside of Moundsville, there's an incorporated town called New Vrindabon. Mm-hmm. And it's like in the middle of the mountains of West Virginia, out of nowhere. There's just this beautiful Hare Krishna temple. Mm-hmm. And basically it was built for like the main guru of Hare Krishna. Yeah. For him to like come and live there. And then he died, but they still keep it. There, and like they keep it nice,
and there's like a commune.
Yeah, you can go and view that. Like go, if you do have to pay admission for the temple at least. Yeah, but you go through the temple, and like it's crazy because it was basically made by all these like lay people, like not skilled craftsmen, but there's like stained glass windows and gold leaf, and it's really beautiful. And very impressive.
Honestly, that place could probably be an episode of Monthly Mysteries.
Truly. If anyone's interested in hearing about that. Yeah. The strange Hare Krishna commune.
And we have photos of the outside. You are not allowed to take pictures of the inside of the temple.
Which is sad because it is beautiful.
It is gorgeous. But
especially so you can go into like there's an inner room where they have like their religious services. Yeah. Which I totally understand why you aren't allowed to take pictures inside of it. I'm not trying to say that like you should be allowed. I'm just saying it's a shame because it's so beautiful.
But I mean, the outside is gorgeous too. There's a huge rose garden. Is gorgeous.
Yes, we had such a good time there.
But the thing is that religion is apparently like real sketchy.
Yes.
So we could do like a cult episode or something.
I remember when we were going there, it's on this windy road, and we were behind like big equipment, and I was in the passenger seat, and I have ME, so my brain is scrambled eggs, and I was so motion sick that when we got there, I thought I was going to throw up. Yeah. Like, I got so car sick. And then it was just like, oh, this beautiful place. Yeah. Like, it was so... And it was extra good, or extra weird, I guess, fun, because I basically sent Liz, like, if we go on this road, like, here's a bunch of things that we could hit on the same trip. And I, like, kind of explained them, but I didn't explain them a lot. And Liz was like, yeah, that sounds like a good time. That sounds like a good time. But she didn't, like, know 100% what was happening. Right. So we got there and she was like, what is this place? Like, there's pictures.
We had both done that, by the way. Like, we both, like, picked a list of things and then, like, picked off of each other's lists. But
yeah. There's a picture of me in like the welcome center, and you can see I'm explaining to her what this place is.
I'm gonna totally see if there's enough to do an episode on this.
That would be fun
because we can put our own real life pictures in, And I pulled them up, and I'm looking at the picture of you pointing to the map and telling me, like...
Yeah. Because I think I was saying, like, this is the area where, like, the people that come here to, like, learn about Hare Krishna and, like, to actually become, I don't know, acolytes or whatever. That's where they live, but this is, like, the temple and everything.
Yeah.
We also got one of our favorite inside joke quotes.
Oh, no.
There, we had this little lady who was the tour guide there, and she had this very specific way of speaking.
She had a very meek, quiet voice.
Yes. She was a very, like, passive-sounding person. And we walked in to the main, like, service area that I talked about where you can't take the pictures, but it is so beautiful. So all over the walls, kind of like Sistine Chapel style, there's different depictions of stories from the, basically, like, the lore, the cosmology of Hare Krishna.
I do have, like, one or two vague pictures of inside, but they're
I remember
not,
you took some of, like, the ceiling inside or whatever.
I have a picture of the back of the tour guide's head.
Oh, great. So, you couldn't... Oh, the one picture was, like, Krishna fighting something.
Yeah.
And one of our fellow tour people, because we were there with, like, a busload of old people.
Yeah. It just happened to be at the same time that this tour bus arrived.
Yeah. So, somebody asked our tour guide, like, when they were fighting, like, did Krishna die? Did they lose? And she just goes, "Oh, no. You can't kill him. He's God." And, like, it was just, like, such a weird experience, but it was so great, and I would highly recommend it, because it's just, like Liz said in the Flatwood Monsters thing, like, West Virginia is such an unassuming place, but it has so many weird, cool things going on.
I think it's because it's unassuming that people are like, where can we go? And just fly right under the radar.
And be left alone.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite roadside attraction or something we visited on that road trip, if you want to talk about?
Yeah, let me think, because I've got the pictures up. Honestly, I think my favorite one you hated.
Was it the observatory?
It was.
So I didn't hate the observatory, I just didn't want to go in it.
I wanted to go in it. So it's like an observatory, like skeletope. Oh my god. Skeletope. A telescope, like observatory, observe the stars. And I forget the name of it exactly, but it was part of Case Western at some point, and then they outgrew it, and so they moved the telescope into a new observatory, but the structure is still there, and it is very abandoned. And there were people, so, like, when we pulled up, first of all, it's in, like, this weird, like, little residential area. It's the only non-residential thing. And so there was, like, not street parking. Like, I had to pull up, basically, onto, like, a sidewalk.
And put four ways on, yeah.
Yeah. Like, so we couldn't be there very long anyway. But this guy is on a motorcycle, and he comes up to us, and he goes, "Hey, if you go around the back, there's an open door to get in." And I was like, bet.
It was so funny that I remember we were like, ugh, what's this guy gonna say? And
yeah,
he was
we were
like,
a little
"Hi,
nervous.
I'm very helpful."
Yeah, and so we, like, pulled up, we drove up and walked to the front of the building, and then there's these two guys. There's a little balcony, and so there's these two guys on this little balcony, and they're just like, "Hey, we're up here just in case you come in, like, we don't want to scare you." And we were like, well, that was nice of them.
Yeah, don't be alarmed.
Yeah, like, everybody was super nice. And then I wanted to go in and mess around, like, and just explore. And Hannah was like, "I'm not about being crushed in an abandoned building today." So.
Can you blame me?
No, I don't.
So my point was, my problem, I guess, was that, one, I don't like heights.
True.
And part of it was, like, the balcony.
You could not have paid me to go on that balcony.
You were on it. I have a picture of you on it.
Okay, fine. It was the inside part. The floor in some spots was literally just not there.
Yeah.
So I was very, very careful about how and where I stepped. But the other guys who were in there were just like wild. I was like, nah.
Yeah. They were like leaping onto the roof and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember though, during this road trip, I kept a illustrated like art journal kind of thing. And I drew Liz up on the balcony and me on the ground with like heart eyes, and I was like, "Oh, my friend, you so brave."
Because
I remember being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's on the balcony."
Yeah, and then I got like partway through, it was so dark. It was so dark in there, and I just had like my phone flashlight. I was like not prepared, and I got to like this big central room, like not the foyer, but kind of like a secondary larger foyer. Like I assume it would have been like a lobby type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just literally like see and hear pieces of building like falling, like little chunks of plaster and stuff. And that was when I noped out, because I was like, I'm not about a ceiling falling on me.
What a fun and wild trip, though.
I know.
Like, looking at the pictures of our Airbnb.
I know, it was so cute.
It just is like, that was our little home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Elizabeth?
Hannah?
Where can the people find us?
You can find us. We are Briefcase Crimes everywhere on all social media, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. You can listen to full episodes of our crime stories or our monthly mysteries anywhere that you listen to podcasts, as well as on YouTube. If you would like to support us monetarily, you can buy us a coffee on ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/briefcasecrimes. Or you can purchase any of the book recommendations that we mention on bookshop.org. We have a link to that in our link tree, which is always in our bio and our episode descriptions.
Would you like to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank you guys so much for listening.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
My mouth feels like